Hello and welcome to my second video, which will actually be the first tutorial for scripters. From here on, these videos will be for scripters. Now, one of the things which people will use quite a lot is SRL, and it's very useful to have a default script set up, so whenever you start a new script, instead of having to type all the same things in over and over again, you can have it all set up, all there for you. And this is very simply done. If you create a skeleton for your script, so ones which will be used most frequently is if you are going to be following along, then just follow along with what I do. SRL. So this will allow us to use SRL5 in our scripts, which I will explain what this is in a little while. We then also need to once again, like I said, I will explain all of these after. Just follow along for now. Right, now what these do, this line here, which is define SRL5, will allow us to use SRL5 into our scripts, which is the latest version of SRL. Then we've got loadlib SPS, which is basically a SPS. SPS is a way of walking around RuneScape maps efficiently and accurately without having any long, confusing functions and procedures. Then we've got define smart, which allows us to use smart. Now, if you watched my last video, which was setting up Simba, this will you already know what smart is. It was the black box. It was the big box which loaded RuneScape and allows it to use its own mouse instead of yours. Then we're including smart. This line here will allow us to actually use SRL and all of its functions and procedures. And then lastly, we've got SPS. And this will allow us to use SPS. Now you then want to set up SRL, and this basically just sets all the variables and constants for SRL, allowing it to work properly. Now, in order for that to actually open up every single time you start a new script, because currently, if you have to press Control and N to start a new script, it would be just that, which isn't very helpful at the moment. Now, if we want that to appear every single time, just click to File, and then Save as Default. Click that, and now let's just say we close it. We don't save it. If we launch up Simba again, then it's already there, meaning that we can then just get straight on with our script, and we don't need to worry about defining stuff and loading libraries and including files. Alright, so next, what is SRL and what is actually in it that we can use? SRL is basically a big library. It is a big library of functions and procedures just to make your life as a scripter much easier. You've got a function list over on the side here. Now, everything that is not in the includes list is built into Simba. Now, these are all good and fine, but there's obviously things like banking and skill-specific stuff which you're going to need. So if you go on to includes, you've got this big list here. Now, the first lot is what we will mostly use. After a little bit, you've then got the randoms. These are files which are used for the anti-randoms. And then at the very bottom, you've got SPS. So if you just click on one of them, so let's say Game tab. There you go. You've got functions in here which can check whether tabs exist. You can set fighting modes. You can get coordinates of the skills. You can tell whether it's resting. You can get the experience of skills. There's lots of stuff in these files. You can even get ones for your inventory. Somewhere around here. There it is, inventory. And in inventory you can get boxes around each inventory space. You can convert coordinates to items, and you can tell whether how many items are in it. You can tell whether it's empty. You can tell whether it's full. You can drop them. You can do almost anything you want with these. Now, if you want to look more in depth to them, you can select the banking. If you find the banking, which is bank, just double click on one, it'll open up the bank file. Now this is the code, this is the bank library, and if you wanted any function in particular, you can find it on the side here. So here you go, deposit, and this is the code for deposit, which is confusing, and you won't need to worry about what it does or how it does it. All you'll need to worry about is this bit here, and this bit is what you type to call the function or procedure, and then these are the parameters. Now, very simple to do. As you've included SRL and you've set it up, if you wanted to say open the bank, literally, you've also got a little one more thing to say. You've also got a little search box down here, which if you think you might know the name of it, then just type it in and it'll appear. So let's say something to do with the bank. Just type in bank, then you've got a load of stuff here. But let's say it's something to do with opening the bank, then you can type in open, and then you've got a load of stuff here. So you've got things like opening the tool belt, opening the world screen, but you've got stuff for banks. So you've got here, bank. Now if you go down, you've got open bank, and down the bottom here, at the very bottom, you've got this bit here, which will tell you what you have to call, and whether and what the parameters are. So you've got open bank. So let's type in open bank. Open bank. And then we've got which bank, which if we were to go back into the bank and then have a look at it, you've got a list of the banks here. So we've got things like Draenor Bank, Edgeville, Lumbridge, Camelot, Falador, Varrock. Let's just go with Varrock East Bank for now, which as you can see is VEB. So let's do that, and as you'll notice, when you press the open bracket, you've got code hinting, which allows you to easily see what needs to be typed without actually needing to find it in the function list and check down the bottom here. So now because of this the code hinting, you now know that we need to know which bank it is, and as we know, we're doing Varrock East Bank. You need to know whether it's going to change the compass, so let's put true for that, because we want it to change the compass, and change the angle, so let's also put true for that as well. And then close the bracket, and a semicolon. Make sure you put the semicolon on the end. This is required for at the end of almost every line. There are some lines where this isn't needed, such as after something that's in red, or after a begin, or the very last end. All the other ends do have a semicolon, apart from the very last one, which has a dot. Anyway, just running this would then start up Smart, and then it would open up the bank. Now another thing which is very useful is logging in. If you just type in login player, then you've got this part which will set up SRL and all the functions and everything. Then it will load up Smart, and then it will log in the player, and then it will open the bank. But in order for it to log in the player, it also needs to know your username and password. So, getting this can easily be nicked from other scripts. Most people won't really care if you do that. Let's just open up that one. And let's just copy the whole of this bit here, declare players. Just copy that, go back to your script, and paste it in the top there. There you go. Now set this to what you want, so you've got how many players, number of players, just leave these 3 lines alone. And then you've got username, pass, pin. This bit won't actually be needed, so you can delete that line, and leave all the other 2 lines. So just leave it at that for now. And then you can put in your username, your password, your pin number, and whether it's active. Now in order for these to actually be set, you actually need to call the procedure. So let's put it in here before login player, because otherwise it won't know your username and password. So put in declare players, and now what it does is it sets up SRL, so it will set all of the variables and everything. It will declare the players, so it will run this procedure here, and it will set your username, it will set your password, and it will set your PIN number, and it will set up all the details, and then it will log you in, and then it'll open the bank. And that is all I have time for at the moment. Next time I will tell you about variables and constants, which you will use a lot in scripts, especially the variables. See you next time.